I'll just make sure that we're all in here. I am live in Brazil. I'm looking at the sunset there. So I'm going to show you really quick before we get started because this is going to be a talk about how to make your first $100,000. So if that's what you clicked on this for, that's what we're going to be talking about. This is how to make your first $100,000. And there are other people who are, just talking about things that they don't understand. I want you guys to see where I am right now so that you can see that I know what I'm talking about. It's not just some random guy on the internet, So I'll tell you, I've been in real estate for the last decade. Millions of dollars worth of real estate under management. We have Airbnbs, we have long-term rentals, short-term rentals. We have a card processing company, vending machines, so many things. And I've been traveling for a year now because I've already hit financial independence. So you can actually follow that story on Instagram. I am Cade underscore. But right now, I'm live on YouTube. So I'm gonna show you this sunset just so you can see where I am. This is where we are right now. You can see that's the sunset right there. This is Floripa, Brazil, one of the best places in the world. And you can see behind me, I'm out here by myself, right? So the light for today is actually going to be the sunset. And that right there is the moon behind me. So that's pretty cool as well. All right, so let's get started. So how, how to make your first $100,000 so that you can start your journey to financial freedom. So I'm going to give you 3 key steps, and this is very important. And whether or not you're an entrepreneur, this is going to be important to you. The first step that you want to take is that you have to fix your mindset. And I know that sounds cliche, but I always start with mindset because I cannot express to you how important that is. When people say mindset, here's what they mean. They don't mean that you just should think that you can do and achieve success and say, oh yeah, I deserve it. That's not what they mean. And everyone says that. But what it really means is that you need to become someone different because the current version of you is not yet ready for 100,000 or 1 million or 10 million. I'm now working myself to 10 million because I've already passed the $1 million mark. But that person, that version of me, that's worth $10 million is not the current version of me. I need to be more disciplined. I need to know more. I need to have more connections, etc. So then, what it really means when people say believe in yourself is that you need to become someone different. You need to master basic skills like being on time, being reliable, being able to communicate clearly your ideas, right? I can go live and I can know what I'm talking about, but many people aren't able to do that without using dialect or, you know, saying, you know what I mean? For example, right? You need to know these terms. You need to know the language of money. You need to be able to be someone that people can depend on. You need to have a level of honesty, right? A level of financial literacy that when you're talking to people, you can convince them that, hey, this is a good person to partner with. This is a good person to put money with, and I trust them. Those are things that you need to master, right? No, don't let this attire fool you. When I just started my journey to my first $100,000, right, which you're on right now, I dressed in a suit every single day. Now I didn't have a tie because I don't like ties, but I was in a suit every single day because if you saw me and that was the first time that you saw me, you would be impressed. Doesn't matter who I met. Sometimes I met the president of a company. Sometimes I just met the janitor. And there's nothing wrong with being a janitor, but of course, you want to earn more money. That's the point of this video. Sometimes I met, a woman that I really wanted to attract into my life. Sometimes I met a good friend that said, hey, my first impression of you was that you were someone that I would like to continue being in my life. That was their first impression. And so it can be the same thing for you, right? If you understand these minute skills, then they add up to someone who is worthy of $100,000. So then what they really mean when you believe in yourself is that you need to change and evolve into that version of you that is capable of bringing in $100,000. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you want to have some type of advantage in the thing that you start. Your first $100,000 will come from you really using your hands. I'm telling you because that's what I did. And that's, I've studied money consistently for the last decade. I love studying money. I love talking about money because I think it's so freeing to be able to go out and earn money anywhere in the world. I'm here in Brazil, Floripa. There are so many digital nomads here, so many millionaires. And to be able to earn money from anywhere in the world, it's so freeing. And so if you understand that, it's wonderful. And so I love talking about money. But what you want to do is that you need an advantage, right? You need an advantage. So my first, couple $1,000s that came from music. I have a degree in music, cello, performing arts. So that when people ask me for a show, I was charging $500, $1,000 just to come and appear for 30 minutes. That's what you can do as well. And that comes from having some type of advantage that you already possess, some type of skill that people consider you an expert in. People might come to you for relationship advice. You might know how to fix a washer and dryer. You might know how to start somebody's car. You might know how to make video. You might be an excellent photographer. I was a photographer at one point as well. Or you might just be physically strong that you can start a moving company. It doesn't matter. But whatever your advantage is, you need to have that better than other people. Right? The people that are going to give you money, they have to feel that you are the best person to deliver what they're paying you for. Right? When people hired me to play cello, I gave it everything on stage. Right? I danced with a cello. I stood up with a cello, walked around with a cello. I talked to people from the stage in the audience with a cello so that we created a vibe and I was the best person at the job. And every single performance I went to, someone else said, "Hey, I want him at my next event." And that's how that grew. And then I got into real estate. It was the same thing. I managed the first property amazingly. And then what happened is that that person said, "Hey, I have a friend. I'm going to recommend you to my friend because you've been doing such a great job. I'm going to keep recommending you." And many businesses grow like that the first time by word of mouth. But no one is going to give you a recommendation to their friend if your services are not the best. So you have to have some type of advantage. And it's easier to start something where you have an advantage because it gets hard. Practicing the cello is hard. Real estate is hard. I have a natural affinity to be able to speak to people. So that when people come to me, right, I have this problem with the house. I'm upset with this. I have a natural ability to say, "Hey, I receive your energy. Let's take it down. Let's calm down and let's figure it out together." And so that was my advantage in real estate. While other people would be stressed, I would be problem solving while calming nerves. And people would say, "I thank you for being there because you helped me to feel better just by talking to you." That is my advantage, right? So you want to have your advantage for your first $100,000. And then I will say that the last step here, because I want to keep this video short, we're almost at 10 minutes. So I want to wrap it up because the sunset, I just want to show you one more time what the sunset's looking like. It's a beautiful sunset. So, oh wow, look at that. Look at that right there. I'm so glad I caught that on camera. Did you see that? There it is. All right. So I want to wrap this up. I know. That's not what you came for. I apologize. It's just that I really love nature. If you follow my Instagram, again, I am Cade underscore, that's the moon. You know that I really love to be outside. And right now I'm in Brazil. So let's finish up. The last thing that you want to do is that you need to start, but don't click off yet. You don't need to just start once. Here's the thing that people underestimate about getting to 100K. If you figure something out and earn $1,000, do that 100 times. Is that boring? Yes. Is it repetitive? Yes. Is it tiring? Yes. It is boring, tiring, and gruesome, but that's how you get to your first 100K. It's just doing it until it gets boring. Let me tell you something. When I started managing real estate, it got so boring that I could predict exactly what the first month would look like, what the first 6 weeks would look like, the problems that would come up in the first 3 months, and I would just tell people before it happened, and they thought I was an expert. But it was boring, and it still is boring. But I'm trying to find new challenges in real estate. But that's my point. Once you get a system, even if it gets 500,000, sorry, even if it gets $500, all you need to do is repeat that system until you get to 100,000. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't switch to something else. Just keep going until you get to 100,000. If it is that you fix cars, keep fixing those cars until you get to $100,000. I hope that was helpful for you. Subscribe. I'm going to go enjoy the sunset. I'm going to show you one more time because I'm really excited for this. Hold on, let me see. That's the sunset right there that I'm about to enjoy. I know where in the world that you guys are, but I hope you found that helpful. Peace out, guys.